And on the main stage, at this moment, we will have, you can't sit in two chairs at once, or can you? So Mark, I leave you here on stage. Take it from here.
Thank you, Christopher. So I will just take a few seconds to introduce the gentleman who's going to present to you. I'm Mark Brigg from the Lean Enterprise Institute. You'll be hearing today from Jeff Miller. He is the president and CEO of Grand Rapids Chair. And Grand Rapids Chair is a company that's going through a huge transformation over the last several years. It's been led by Jeff Miller, of course. He is and I'd like to say I consider Jeff a very good friend. It's a privilege to working with him over the last several years. Thank you, Jeff. And maybe just one note about my personal note about Jeff is a lifelong learner. And so to me, that's going to indicate success with Lean. And so, Jeff, I'm going to hand it over to you, and I look forward to hearing. I'm sure everybody will appreciate your story. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Could you advance to the next slide? And then another. So I think the first thing I'd like to do is paint the picture of who we are. We are located in Grand Rapids, Michigan in the US. We have about 150-plus-year-old brand name. So the original Grand Rapids Chair was founded in 1872, family owned and operated, and was sold in the late 40s and then sold again in 1956 to another residential furniture manufacturer called Baker Furniture, who marketed and sold the brand till about 1975 when the original Grand Rapids Chair residential furniture manufacturer faded into oblivion. My parents in 1991 started their own business called Manufacturers Resource. Manufacturers Resource was a contract sales and manufacturing company focusing on mostly customers in the office furniture industry. So brands like Knoll, Hayworth, Hahn, Steelcase, Herman Miller, now known as Miller-Knoll. This company, Manufacturers Resource, never really had more than 10 customers. Very long story outside of the scope of today's webinar, but in the year 2000, we decided to change our business model and our name, and we did a name search, and we knew we wanted something Grand Rapids, and we found the once defunct Grand Rapids Chair Company and resurrected the brand name. My dad, in his wisdom, had the vision that a brand was bigger than the family. Manufacturers Resource really was my dad. He was the CEO, he was the accountant, he was the janitor, he was the salesperson. He really was the brand. So without my dad, I'm not sitting here today with Mark on this webinar for sure. I joined the business in 1995 and full-time in 1998. Today, the brand is a market leader in the hospitality furniture industry and also the office furniture industry. We produce products that go into restaurants, hotels, and really a vast array of different commercial applications. We like to call them social spaces. Some of our notable customers are the best burritos in the world, Chipotle. Some of the best organic food you can get in a grocery store, Whole Foods, Marriott Courtyard, and over 6,000 other customers will buy from us usually every 2 to 3 years. We have about 150 employees. We're producing about 710 units per day. On average this year, a unit may be a chair, a bar stool, an occasional table, a restaurant table. And our strategy really is fourfold. Unique and relevant designs within our mid-century modern product portfolio that empower expression. Really for that, what we mean is we do a lot of custom and unique specials that are designed with different colors and fabrics by interior designers who are specifying the products. The other part of that is the high quality story. Our industry follows an ANSI standard, and our industry manufacturing association standard, we call it the ANSI BIFMA standard. Also lead time and the high quality and specials uniquely kind of separate us from many of the competitors outside of the United States. A lot of restaurant furniture is made outside of the US, Canada, and Mexico that's consumed in the US. And then really under the umbrella of being easy in everything we do, supported by our customer first attitude. We like to think of that as customer before team before me. So that's really a picture of who we are today. You can advance to the next slide, please, Mark. And I've got 2 slides really kind of show you kind of what the product looks like in this strategy we have of high quality, custom, unique, and special. Here we've got a taco and tequila bar in Naper, Illinois, where you can see all of the chairs are actually different colors. So many of these orders will be vast array of custom and specials, even within a single order. You can go to the next slide, Mark. This is one of my favorite places in Bend, Oregon, Boss Rambler Beer Club. So you can get a feeling for the different products that are produced today at Grand Rapids Chair. And kind of getting into the guts of what we wanted to talk about. Why did Grand Rapids Chair go on this journey of Hoshin Kanri? COVID. I'm tired of talking about COVID, but I think for the rest of my career, I'll probably be talking about the year 2020. A big bulk of our business, probably about a third of our business, goes to restaurants. Anyone in the US knows what the restaurant industry was like across our 50 states. For us, COVID meant almost overnight a 50% loss of sales. When you compare the start of 20 to the start of 21, our factory was closed in the state of Michigan for 2 months, and we had lost almost half of our employees just trying to survive. It was a very, very uncertain time, to say the least. When we emerged from the COVID pandemic, we then got hit by another whammy, the global supply chain crisis. Commodity costs spiraled out of control. Cost was, I don't throw this word around lightly, but it was chaotic. The cost of steel in about 6 months times tripled. Went from about $600 a metric ton at the start of 20 to over $2,000 a metric ton by summer. That's hard to account for and make sure you're charging the right price. We're known for a short lead time. Most all of our schedule of products will be available to customers in 4 to 6 weeks. Many of those lead times went from weeks to months. It was a huge problem. On-time delivery. We're known for following through on what we say we'll do. And our on-time delivery to a customer had never been a problem in Kutzer history. And that key performance indicator went from mid-90s and on-time to customer to low teens. All this, it was a very uncertain time. I was saying things to my wife like I might have ruined the family business. And a tangible reality became we might have to close the business. We'd lost our competitive advantage, speed, agility, price of our made-to-order products. We had lost it. So in 2021, we were searching for how do we really save the business? We had corporate KPIs, but no meaningful daily management anywhere in the business. We had a one-page strategic plan, but no tangible process for actually getting the strategy done. And most of us weren't experienced at all using structured problem solving. Right, next slide there, Mark. So what do we do? So in 2021, we engaged with Lean Enterprise Institute, LEI, and Mark, who's here with me on the call. we came to Mark, and graciously he took us in, and we asked him, "Hey, will you please teach us what is Hoshin Connery?" I didn't even know what those two words were, and how do you do it? By the fall of 2021, we had published our first Hoshin plan for the following year, 2022. Right after really a series of workshops and learning sessions with LEI around Hoshin, we immediately started another program with LEI called Lean Leader. And later in the summer and fall 2022, a second contingency of Grand Rapids Share employees also enrolled in Lean Leader. And really practically, we were using this Lean Leader program to develop our A3 problem solving capability as a means to actually try to work towards the Hoshin objectives that we had written a few weeks before. One of our Hoshin objectives that we wrote in 2021 for 2022 led us to first create the company's first daily management system, what we've recoined our management development system. In 2022, planning for 2023, we once again engaged with LEI to facilitate our Hoshin Connery process, and in a bit different fashion from when you compare the 2022 Hoshin, excuse me, to the 2023 Hoshin. Excuse me, I'm taking a drink. It's that time of year where we're getting sick in the upper Midwest. It's getting cold. Excuse me. In 2022, the Hoshin looked a little different, because instead of one Hoshin, the leadership, despite LEI's advice, we decided to now develop 5 Hoshins, one company corporate Hoshin, and then a series of other Hoshin plans with link objectives to them. In hindsight, that was a bad idea. This essentially resulted in 47 different Hoshin priorities for a company that had 150 employees, and no clear plan or path to achieve the corporate Hoshin objectives. So what do we learn? We've learned a tremendous amount. 2022, I'm sure there's many more bullets, but I think the key themes of learnings in 2022, first and foremost, we learned A3. Structured problem solving first appeared in the organization for the first time. And then we also learned that regularly getting back to assess and check our progress is really, really, really important. If it's not important to leaders, it really doesn't become important to everyone else. This year, I think the learning's even grown exponentially from that baseline year of 2022. I just mentioned the first bullet, the creation of more Hoshins underneath a corporate Hoshin for at least a company of our scale and scope. That's a bad idea. It just creates more objectives. We're now saying things around the office like prioritize until it hurts. You probably could never prioritize enough. We're also saying things like less is more, better impact if you can really focus on the right problems. In 2023, we also started regularly checking our process. Myself and my senior leadership team, we've been meeting twice a month to, really in the spirit of PDCA. How are we doing? What adjustments are needed? Where are we overloaded? Where do we have resource capacity? These types of decisions. Also this year is really when our daily management system started to take roots within the organization. Today, really what daily management looks like at Grand Rapids Chair, it's doing a really, really good job at highlighting problems, but we really haven't started to get after much problem solving linked to the daily management. That's a big focus for next year. Also, the last bullet, Mark introduced us to a management system, a lean management system framework that LEI has been, I think, developing for a number of years. This helped us to really assess what is our Grand Rapids Chair management system. I started asking several months ago around the office and around the company, what is the Grand Rapids Chair management system? And I got a lot of deer and headlight looks. Everyone had kind of a different answer. This has really helped us to start to develop a common language for how we think about what is management and what is leadership. I think really two different things that are forever interlinked. And it's helped point out some of the critical areas that we really need to invest and improve. So for next year, based on 2022 and 2023's learnings, what's our plan? I think first and foremost, next year we'll have a strategic plan for us. That's a series of 3-year scope objectives, and we translate those objectives into what are the most critical things to do this year in order to meet those 3-year objectives. For us, that translates into our Hoshin objectives. Next year, we'll have 4, and then we'll have 12 planned activities. And these may be A3s or execution plans. That's our internal jargon or nomenclature for more of a just do it. And we actually have one where we're creating an SOP as a planned activity. This is the SLTs, or the senior leadership team's best foot forward in terms of these are the 12 things we need to do in order to meet the Hoshin objectives for next year. So next slide, please, Mark. I think the other critical piece of what we've learned is visual management of the Hoshin and the strategy is really, really important. So we started experimenting earlier this year with the company's first Obeya room, and late this year, I think about 6-8 weeks ago, we said we need to double the size of the Obeya and structure the Obeya a little differently. So next year we moved into just starting to set up 2024's Obeya with the Hoshin for 2024. A lot going on in this slide, but really what this slide is showing is that the frequency of coming together as an SLT and a larger management team for Grand Rapids Chair, the Hoshin really has been a senior leadership process this year. Next year, we're going to with some frequency, once a month, we're bringing in a larger leadership group to participate in the monthly Hoshin review with the senior leadership team. And then every other week, the senior leadership team will be meeting independently. I think really the spirit of what we're trying to show with this slide is you probably can't check enough and keep everyone in tow with what's going on and who's doing what. As if you're not coming together and having these conversations, you can't really maintain that alignment and velocity of change and problem solving throughout the course of a Hoshin cycle. So next slide, please, Mark. This is a slide highlighting our daily management system. I had mentioned we set up our first daily management system, again, what we are now calling our management development system, starting in late 2022. Through the course of this year, the daily management system has been mostly an analog, is what you see in paper copies on the left side of the screen. We've just recently switch from an analog to a digital version within the course of the last couple of weeks. The digital version really has helped with some of our remote or hybrid workforce who might not be in the office every day. We've got a couple salespeople that participate in daily management that actually don't even live in the same state as the factory. So the digital versions made it just a little easier to communicate and have those daily huddles and what we call our tier 4 or our escalating tiered management development system. Next year, really the big thing around daily management is actually one of the planned activities that sits on the Hoshin plan for next year. Is significant amount of training and development of our manufacturing leadership structure of several supervisors and focused problem solvers. We have a role called the zone leader that's very similar to I think Toyota call them facilitators, Mark? Or are they
group leader?
Yeah, group leader. Yeah. So we're really focused next year on training and developing some of those practical skills and also some leadership and management development training for those folks. And then how did we do? Lean's had a huge impact in the business. I like to think of how we do in terms of kind of the 3 segments of the business. The first being the employees, the second being the customers, and the third being the business. I highlighted all those sections green. Green is good, red is bad. We've done pretty good. I like to measure how's the culture in terms of our annual employee engagement survey. We just did one a few months ago and indicated an all-time high for overall engagement of 80%. Our customer experience, lead times are back to normal. You can see all of our lead times on Grand Rapids Chair's website. All of them are floating around 4 or 5 weeks again, so very much stable again. And many of our daily management measures have stabilized. I showed a graph just showing the on-time delivery to the customer and how bad it got in 2021 and 2022 with the COVID pandemic and the supply chain crisis. And then the business profitability is at an all-time high. 2019 was actually the 19-year high for Grand Rapids Chair and EBITDA. In 2020, we made a total of $6,682, which was obviously an all-time low. We've actually never lost money in a calendar year. And then when you compare 2019 to where we're projecting 2023's operating profit or EBITDA, we will improve overall profitability in the business by 64%, which I think is tremendous. So with that, we can open it up for questions.
I'm going to stop sharing, Jeff.
Okay.
There is one question.
Looks like one. Do you guys think that the described process could be possible without decision makers' commitment?
Guess that's you, Jeff.
Yeah, I don't really know how I feel. I'm obviously a committed CEO, and my belief is without the highest level of leadership being behind it, you're probably never going to be able to get it done. But maybe I'm drinking my own Kool-Aid. I don't know. Nice description of the BEA zone leader development plans. What actions on Hoshin were part of the supply chain? That's a great question. I wish we would have been able to do more change in the supply chain, but frankly, we didn't have the resources to reach back much into our supply chain. Much of the supply chain stability has just come as a result of many of our suppliers fixing their core operations themselves.
I think that's it in terms of questions. Oh, yeah, questions. Christopher, I believe we're finished.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jeff.
Oh, there's another one. Herman
Oh,
Miller.
okay.
Herman Miller is a known lead leader. Have you leveraged them? Yeah, actually, our facility is very close to Herman Miller's corporate headquarters in Zeeland, Michigan. And we actually have very, very close relationships with many folks in operations management, and they've helped us quite a bit. They've been a huge help to us.
All right, something else maybe just came in.
Oh, that was just a thank you from Joe.
Oh,
So, yeah.
okay. So maybe I guess thank you everybody and thank you, Jeff, very much. It's been a great experience working with Jeff and his team. They're a good showcase for this. And I'm glad, it's great to see the results you got too, Jeff. That's quite excellent. Hopefully you continue.
It's a good story, Mark.
It is a good story.
It's a good story.
Because of you and your team.
Yeah. A lot of people, more than me. That's cool. It looks like there were 46 participants, Mark.
Well, that's great, I guess. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. Good. Thanks everybody I see something else. Oh, just thanks. Everybody saying thanks. Jeff.
Oh yeah, we're getting claps and heart emojis.
Yeah. That's good.
Well, Mark, if I don't see you before the end of the year, have a great holiday.
You too.
Yeah.
Yes. And thanks again. I've said it many times for doing this.
Yeah, no problem.
Here comes, I think Christopher's coming. He's
Yeah,
going to check us out.
I was a bit worried right at the start because I had 2 Zoom sessions open. I couldn't figure out why I was hearing you twice. It was starting to freak out, but then I stopped.
Hi, Christopher.
So Mark, we're coming to an end of this session. So we are at the last minute here. So again, thank you very much for sharing. Thank you, Jeff, for sharing also part of your experience. Yes, we did have some microphone problems just in the beginning of the session, but it was really short, the problem, and we were back on track. So again, I invite you to go to the lobby, share experiences there. People will surely want to connect to you too there at the lobby. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.